Ah yes, the mammoth. The shaggy, hulking, frost-coated behemoth stomping through the ice age like it owns the place. But here's the secret nobody tells you. It wasn't the tusks, it wasn't the hair, it wasn't even the fact that they looked like prehistoric heavy metal bass players. No, friend, mammoths had a secret weapon. A weapon carved not from bone, not from fur, but from the raw, screaming pages of evolutionary desperation. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it was, and why it may still be lurking, coated in the frozen veins of your DNA. And hey, if you want to survive your own personal ice age, aka the cold void of algorithmic neglect, you might want to smash that subscribe button. Think of it as growing your own shaggy coat of digital fur. Protect yourself, protect the channel, protect the mammoth, the wrong kind of hairy. You, sitting there with your pathetic little patchy body hair, probably think you'd never last 2 minutes in an ice age. And you're right, you'd freeze before your first woolly sneeze. But the mammoth? The mammoth was born wrapped in a nightmare quilt of shag. We're not just talking about long hair, we're talking about hair on hair, hair overcoat over hair undercoat, an entire layered insulation system. Mammoths were basically walking taxidermy projects that taxidermied themselves while alive. But the hair wasn't even the real weapon. Oh no, that was just the camouflage, the velvet curtain before the big reveal. The hair was obvious. Look at me, I'm a shag rug with legs. But underneath, evolution was planning something more sinister. Scientific fact injection. The woolly mammoth's fur came in 2 main types. A long guard hair that could reach over 3 feet in length, and a dense undercoat of shorter hairs, perfect for trapping air and insulating against Siberian winds. This dual coat worked like a built-in sleeping bag. Imagine never needing a blanket again, except you're the blanket forever. Congratulations, the weapon in the blood. Let's go deeper. Peel the skin, slice past the blubber, down into the liquid humming inside those massive arteries. Because the mammoth's real evolutionary weapon wasn't outside at all, it was in the blood. Yes, blood. Warm, thick, iron-rich. The mammoth's hemoglobin, the protein that ferries oxygen around your body like a desperate Uber driver, was freakishly special. Normal hemoglobin gets a little sluggish in the cold. Oxygen transport slows, and your fingers fall off. Mammoth hemoglobin? It thrived in freezing temperatures. This was a genetic mutation that rewired their blood chemistry. It let them keep delivering oxygen to their muscles even when their bodies were practically popsicles. So imagine this. A mammoth sinking its shaggy feet into the permafrost, a blizzard gnawing at its face, and its blood whispering, "Don't worry, darling, I've got you. We'll keep moving, we'll keep stomping, we'll never stop." Creepy? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. And here's the kicker: scientists resurrected that hemoglobin in a lab by splicing mammoth genes into bacteria. They literally reanimated mammoth blood. Frankenstein vibes? Check. And yes, it worked exactly as advertised. Oxygen delivery in the cold, no problem. Mammoth blood, still flexing on us 10,000 years after extinction. Tusks like time bombs. But don't get distracted by blood-borne miracles. Look at those tusks. Spiral ivory sides, curling like frozen lightning bolts out of their faces. Everyone thinks tusks were just for fighting or showing off. And sure, sometimes a mammoth probably jousted like a hairy medieval knight. But tusks were tools, Swiss Army knives of survival. They scraped snow off the ground to reach hidden grass. They dug into ice. They pushed through frozen barricades. Tusks were survival chisels. And here's where it gets weirder. Tusks recorded time. They grew in layers, like tree rings, each layer a record of stress, starvation, or environmental catastrophe. Tusks are evolutionary journals, scrawled in ivory. When scientists cut into them, they can literally read mammoth biographies. Year 17, another ice age birthday. Starving again. Thanks, Mom. It's horrifyingly intimate, like rifling through someone's medical records, except the someone is a corpse the size of a bus. The cult of cold. You think mammoths were everywhere, don't you? Wrong. They were specialists, high priests in the cult of cold. They weren't roaming tropical beaches with pina coladas. These beasts were married to the steppe tundra, a vanished ecosystem of endless grasses. stretching from Spain to Siberia to North America. The mammoth steppe was the Ice Age's all-you-can-eat buffet, but only if you were built like a shaggy bulldozer. Here's a fact that will ruin your mental image. Mammoths weren't eating trees. They weren't ripping down forests. They were grazing mostly grasses, sedges, little plants poking through the snow. Picture this 8-ton beast delicately plucking grass like a cow in a winter sweater. Their teeth were specialized for grinding tough, silica-rich grasses, evolving into flat ridge plates perfect for pulverizing frost-bitten vegetation. Mammoth molars weren't weapons, they were millstones. And yet, those molars had expiration dates. Each mammoth only had 6 sets of molars in its lifetime, erupting one after another as the old ones were down. When the last set gave out, when the grinding plates turned to dust, the mammoth starved. Death by dental plan. The secret weapon couldn't last forever. Oh wow, you're still here, still listening to me froth about blood and tusks and dental death spirals. Why? Do you crave mammoth secrets? Do you feel the tusks curling inside your dreams? Fine. But if you're in this deep, you'd better subscribe. Otherwise, you're basically a saber tooth waiting for extinction, watching, not adapting. Subscribe now, or the mammoth will haunt your algorithm forever. Death, extinction, resurrection. And now, the part you've been dreading, extinction. About 10,000 years ago, the great shag rugs began to vanish. Climate change shrank their steppe tundra buffet, humans sharpened spears, and mammoths were squeezed from both ends. Gone, except for one tiny population clinging to Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean. For another 6,000 years, a handful of mammoths eked out an existence, slowly degenerating, their genomes collapsing into weird mutations, brittle bones, strange coats, even possible infertility. The last mammoths were genetic ghosts, trapped in a slow-motion extinction spiral. But science has a sick sense of humor, because now, researchers are trying to resurrect the mammoth. De-extinction projects are splicing mammoth DNA into Asian elephant genomes. The goal? Breed a mammophant, a hybrid elephant engineered with mammoth traits, cold-resistant blood, shaggy coats, maybe even those curling tusks. Why? Because apparently, humanity looked at climate change and said, you know what we need? A Pleistocene mascot. If this works, the mammoth's secret weapon, its blood, its insulation, its cold-forged biology might walk the tundra again. Not a clone, not the real thing, but an echo. An echo with shaggy hair and freakishly powerful hemoglobin, stomping across a changed world. Creepy? Yes. Awesome? Also yes. The secret weapon revealed. So what was the mammoth's ultimate weapon against the Ice Age? Was it the hair, the tusks, the molars, the steppe ecosystem? No, it was adaptability carved into flesh and blood. A Swiss Army set of traits: fur insulation, fat layers, oxygen-hacking blood that let them dominate a frozen empire for hundreds of thousands of years. And yet, that weapon had a flaw. Adaptations are bargains with nature, and the mammoth's bargain was this: thrive in the cold, die in the warmth. They couldn't pivot fast enough when the Ice Age ended. Their greatest strength became their tombstone. That's the tragedy of evolution. Your weapon today is your coffin tomorrow. So now, you know the mammoth's secret weapon. Blood that laughed at ice, tusks that wrote their diaries, hair that mocked the blizzard itself. But remember, weapons always rust. And if you don't subscribe right now, when the next Ice Age comes, don't expect to borrow the mammoths.